Alright, I'm on vacation in Hawaii. I'm testing out the Sony RX100 Mark IV.
Thanks again for joining us on United Flight 1736 to Maui. Our flight time will be approximately 7 hours.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Dugdale, learningvideo.com. I recently went to Maui on vacation with my family. I wanted to carry something small and light, so I got this camera, borrowed it from B&H Photo. Also, I wanted to get the Canon G7X Mark II, which I think is about $400 cheaper, or maybe $300 cheaper than this one. But they didn't have any in stock, so I got this one as a loaner. And the great thing about this camera is, compared to shooting with my A7R II with large glass and shoving it in my kid's face and telling them to do something fun or whatever for family video on vacation, I have this articulating or flip out or flip up screen, and I can hold it like this and they could be by my side and do stuff like this. Now you're going to notice a big difference between this camera and this one. This one's doing it all automatically, and that's the way I shot on this vacation. As like, I didn't want to like do S-Log footage or anything like that. I just a baked in look. I could just drop it on the timeline, edit it real quick, just a quick family vacation video. Now, I've been a big fan of Casey Neistat for many years, probably since he had like maybe 60,000 followers. Now he's got 4 million. I think he probably his videos on a weekly basis probably get watched about equal to probably a top-rated TV show, one episode. It's pretty amazing. In the millions and millions of views. He probably gets 15 million views a week, which is just insane. Anyway, so we went down to the store and we painted their glasses with my girls. It was kind of like a family type thing, and we could take a camera like this, hold it out like this, and you can't tell if we're looking at the lens or the display, that kind of thing. And it was a lot of fun just walking around Maui with sunglasses like this with my girls. They got a kick out of it, and we created this really fun video. And I gotta say, it's I blatantly copied Casey Neistat on terms of it, the music he used, his editing style, the time lapses. I mean, I try to blatantly copy as many techniques as he uses. We're a little gross. We got to go to dinner, so let's take a shower. All right, all clean. And it was very educational for me because I was like, wow, maybe I could use this in some of my other videos in more of a subtle way than blatantly copying. But it came out really well. My wife thought it was great. Some of the other people I shared it with were like, this is one of your best videos. So having this type of engagement with the camera being out like this and the girls engaging was so much better than me just pointing a camera like this at them. It was such a massive difference. Okay, this is going to be by no means a thorough review. This camera's been out for like a year. Probably in the first couple of weeks of its release, there's probably been a lot of great reviews already done on this camera, so I'm not going to go into big detail. I'm just going to hit upon the high points. The first one is for video. It doesn't have any audio input, so audio is going to be a bit of a challenge. You're going to have to do dual sync sound if you want to get something quality. You got to hold it pretty close. If you get too far away with this camera, the audio is definitely going to suffer. This is also a very expensive camera, coming in around $1,000. You can get an Alpha 6300 with a much bigger sensor, much better autofocus, much better low light performance in this camera. So why would you get this camera? Basically, because the thing is so darn small and so darn light that it fits like in my shorts pockets, no problem. Like walking around Maui. And I gotta say, you really need this strap because man, this thing will, there's not much to grab onto with at least my hands. There's the way you grip it, it's very difficult. So definitely use the strap with this thing. So when I was on vacation, I wanted to be on vacation. I wanted to do auto everything. I didn't want to have to think about it. So I was like auto white balance, auto exposure, auto focus, auto ISO, auto everything. If it broke the 180-degree shutter rule in movie mode, I didn't care. I was just gonna throw it on the timeline and just get it. You know, if I was doing a time lapse, I didn't care. I wasn't going to do it like with individual pictures. I do it like Casey Neistat does. I just like let the video roll, and on the timeline, I just condense it down, and it just becomes a time lapse as I push the clip inward and make it go faster. But the only other camera I have reviewed of point and shoot nature, I would consider is the Panasonic RX100. This one is a lot smaller in terms of the sensor size, and maybe it's probably smaller in terms of body. I can't remember, it's been a long time. But in terms of autofocus, I was expecting a lot more from this camera, especially since it's got such a small sensor. I was figuring that a lot of things would be in focus anyway, but it hunted around, especially with the face detect box that you'll see up here around my face. It didn't do that great of a job, unfortunately. And I can kind of see why. I remember Casey talking about this camera being like could be the ultimate, vlogging camera. But in terms of the autofocus, he was very disappointed with it. You could always see him struggling. He'd get in front of it. It's like, come on, focus, focus. And I had that same type of reaction a lot of the times. It was just like it was taking way too long for it to focus. All right, in terms of the lens on this, I would say it's not quite wide enough. I mean, for the stuff that Casey Neistat does, his is a bit wider. I think he uses like a 10 to 18, which is probably more like a 16 to 27 equivalent. I can't remember quite exactly, but this is a 24 to 70. So if this was like a 20 to 70, this would probably be perfect. Now, one of the amazing things on this camera is the ND filter. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I don't think it's electronic, because if I go into the menu right here and I put my ear up to it, and I turn it off, and then I turn it back on again, I'm not hearing anything like mechanically going in front of the sensor or anything like that. So I think it's done electronically. Boy, if they could take that technology and put that into the Sony A7S or A7R, oh, that would be amazing. Now, one of the biggest party tricks, I guess you could say, to this camera is its high frame rates, and it can do extremely high ones. Highest I ever went, though, was 240 frames per second. And I gotta say, the images coming off of this thing at 240 frames a second looked really, really good. Now, like I said before, I didn't really want to grade too many images, so I didn't use S-Log that much. The unfortunate thing is its native ISO or base ISO is 1600, which is kind of a problem for such a tiny little sensor. Your images can get pretty noisy pretty fast, but we have in a bright sunny environment like I've got right here, comparing S-Log on this camera to like the A7R2, to be honest, they looked very similar, and you could probably match them up pretty well in post. And in terms of pictures, I really enjoyed using this camera. In fact, there's one picture in here I might even blow up and hang up on my wall. It shoots raw and does all that great stuff. It's got a little pop-up flash, and I was using it for like on sunset cruises, filling my family with the brighter like sunset behind them. And the unfortunate part with this pop-up flash, however, is when you try to install like a wind muff, like right here on top of the microphones, you can't really use the pop-up flash anymore. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is Steady Shot. I didn't test it a lot, but I was really disappointed. Every time I turned it on, turned it off, I couldn't tell a difference. I mean, like, especially when you're holding the camera out like here and your arm gets tired after a while and it starts to shake kind of thing. I didn't notice any difference between turning it on or turning it off, so that was kind of a fail. In conclusion, is it the perfect vlogging camera? I'd probably say it's close. It's really, really close. And for $1,000, it should be perfect, but I would say it's not quite there yet. If you could get audio into it, that would be great. If the image stabilization was better, that'd be great. If you could get a little bit wider lens, that would be even better. What I really would like to happen is, having this flip up screen like I said before, with my girls and my family and getting the content that I wanted, and I really got it because of this. I love this pop-up screen. Why can't Sony on the 6300 or the A7R2 or whatever you're filming with, those type of cameras, I want to be able to like flip it out like a GH4, or because you probably can't flip it up because of the viewfinder and stuff like that. That's the other thing I didn't talk about, was this pop-up electronic viewfinder. It actually works pretty well. You have to really jam your eye against it. And what was it? Jordan Drake from the Camera TV Store was saying something about eyeball sweat getting on there. I was laughing when he did that review. I was like, eyeball sweat. And then after using it for a while, I was like, yeah, I guess I can see what he's talking about. But in conclusion, I would say, is it the perfect vlogging camera? I'd say no, it's close, definitely. And for me, I really want to get a camera like this if it had, a pop-up screen. And again, I would love if Sony could put, like in the new A7R Mark III or whatever, if they could have an articulating screen outward, I would love that. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.